Welcome 11 commerce students. Today in this class I will start a new chapter, that is internal trade. Internal trade is the chapter which is included in your syllabus, in your final syllabus of class 11 from business studies subject. So I will start today with the chapter called internal trade. Now we all know that trade is the nucleus of all the activities. Now trade refers to buying and selling of goods and services for earning profit. Also, production, transportation, banking, warehousing, insurance, etc., all other activities are concerned with or related with trade. Now, trade facilitates the expansion of business activities throughout the world. On the basis of territorial boundaries of a country, trading activities could be classified into two parts, two distinct categories. One is internal trade, another one is international trade. So, our chapter is concerning this internal trade. Now, what is the meaning of this internal trade? Internal trade can be also called as domestic trade. Domestic trade or internal trade refers to the buying and selling of goods within the geographical boundary of a country. Now, in such a trade, both buyer and seller are the residents of the same country, of the home country. In internal trade, payments for goods are made and received in a country in within the country and the exchange take place in the national currency only. Goods can be sold anywhere within the country. Manufacturers or traders have to pay no customs or no import duty or no export duty while the exchange takes place. And this buying selling of goods are a part of this domestic production, and these are meant for consumption within the country. And for example, sale of goods by merchant of Kolkata to a merchant of Mumbai is a part of this internal trade. So you can understand, internal trade works within the geographical boundary of a country. It may varies, it may takes place between state, it can be interstate, but it will be restricted within the geographical boundary of a country. Now features, talking with the features of internal trade. So while giving you the clear definition, it means domestic trade, within the geographical limit or geographical boundary of a country. Now, features of internal trade. Internal trade consists of some features, some salient features. Number one is movement of goods take place within the boundary of a country. This is the first feature, that's why I have written this, that trade takes place within the geographical boundary of a country. Second is all the payment and all the receipts, that means all the exchange takes place within one currency, and that is the home currency. So exchange take place in home currency only. So currency involved is the national currency. So there are no or very low few formalities to be maintained by the traders. Various local mode of transport can be used for transfer of goods and services, because it is restricted within the country, but it may take place between many states. Suppose it may take between Kashmir and Kanyakumari. So since they are wide apart located, that's why a variety of transportation involvement can be there in case of internal trade. It doesn't mean that the trade takes place within a particular locality. It can take place between various states also. So transportation of a number, so involvement of a number of transportation takes place in case of internal trade. Now internal trade can be classified into two parts. This type of trade can be classified into two parts. Number one is wholesale trade, whereas number two is retail trade. Wholesale trade and retail trade are the two types of internal trade. Uh, these are the two types in which two categories in which the trade can be internal trade can be divided into. First, we will talk about this wholesale trade. Now, what is this wholesale trade refers to? It refers to buying and selling of goods and services in large quantities for the purpose of resale or intermediate use. A person engaged in wholesale trade is called a wholesaler. A wholesaler buys goods in bulk directly from the manufacturers and then sell them in small lots to the retailers, who is again selling them to the customers. So wholesale trade is a trade where the wholesaler is involved. He buys. Wholesale trade is a trade which involves buying and selling of goods from the wholesaler, from the manufacturers in bulk lot, and then selling it to the retailers in small lot. They can also directly sell it to the customers, but generally they sell it in small quantities or in small lots to the retailers. This is the wholesale trade. Now we come to the retail trade. What is a retail trade all about? Retail trade is a kind of trade. Retail trade involves buying and selling of goods directly from the wholesalers at a particular quantity and then selling it in a single unit to the individual customer who needs that. This is the difference between wholesaler and a retailer. A wholesaler is a, you can say he is a, wholesale trade is a little bit of large business and retail trade is a little bit of small business, because it sells goods in very small quantity, maybe in single or a double unit, maybe very small unit, in a single unit to the customers, and they buy it from the wholesalers for a particular quantity. In bulk they buy it from the wholesalers, and wholesalers, what they do, they buy it from the manufacturers and then sell it to the retailers in small quantities. This is the difference between wholesale trade and retail trade. We will be discussing about these two trade and the features of these two trade, that is wholesale trade features and retail trade features, one by one. Also, we will read the functions of these wholesalers and what is the importance of these wholesalers in the society, how they help the society. Is there any need? Is there actually any need for wholesalers or not in the society? Are these middlemen, this retailer and this wholesaler are actually the middlemen who are involved in the whole process of trade? In the whole process of trade, the goods is in the process of trade, in this process called trade, the goods and services is transferred from the manufacturer to the ultimate customers. Now, how they are transferred from the manufacturer to the customers does not directly purchase good in single unit from the producers himself. It is not possible to meet the producers individually and then buying in small units from the producer. It is not possible for the customers. So what happens is, the customers, between the producers and the customers lies these two type of middlemen. One is the wholesaler and one is the retailer, because from producer the wholesaler purchase it, and from the wholesalers the retailers purchase it, and from the retailers the customer ultimately get the small units of the goods demanded by them. So this is the whole chain which is called trade, and this is a part of internal trade. In my next class, I will discuss more about this wholesale trade and retail trade. Till then, goodbye.